All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take just one single GCSE math question and really pull it apart. And you might be asking, why? Well, it's because hidden inside this one problem is the secret to cracking the code, you know? Understanding how examiners actually think and how you can scoop up every last mark. So, first things first. Take a look at this. No calculators allowed. This little detail is a massive clue, right? It tells you this isn't about how fast you can punch in numbers. Nope. It's about testing your understanding of the method. It's about the journey, not just the destination. How you get to that final answer is just as important, maybe even more important than the answer itself. And here it is, the challenge itself. Work out 818.4 divided by 1.2. Now, on the surface, it looks pretty straightforward, doesn't it? But look closer. It's worth 3 marks. 3! That's a big deal for what seems like a simple division problem. And that tells you everything you need to know. The examiner has a checklist, and they're looking for very specific things. So it's not enough to just find the answer, is it? You've got to play the game. The real question is, how do you absolutely guarantee you get every single one of those marks? How do you walk away with all 3 points? No questions asked.
Okay, let's get into it. The first big hurdle. And the secret to getting over it? Well, it's kind of hiding in plain sight, right there in the official mark scheme. Think of the mark scheme as our treasure map to getting the full score.
So what's the first thing that jumps out at you here? It's the decimals, right? They just make everything look messy and complicated. Trying to divide by 1.2 is awkward, and it's a classic trap where people make easy mistakes. And trust me, the examiners know this. They're watching to see exactly how you deal with it. So let's think like an examiner for a second. What's the most efficient, the cleanest first step you could possibly take? What's that one move that screams, I know what I'm doing?
And boom, here's the answer. Straight from the horse's mouth, the mark scheme itself. This little phrase is basically your golden ticket. The very first thing they want to see is that you've kicked off a proper method. And what's their number one example? Yep, turning that nasty decimal problem into a nice, clean, whole number, 1.
And the best part is how simple this fix actually is. All you do is multiply both sides by 10. That's it. The relationship between the numbers, that ratio, stays exactly the same, but the problem just transforms. It goes from being this tricky, headache-inducing thing to just straightforward long division. It's the first rule of exam success, really. Make the problem easier for yourself.
Just for doing that, you earn what's called an M mark, a method mark. The official lingo says it's for a correct method or a partial method. Basically, it's a point just for showing you know how to attack the problem, even before you start crunching the numbers. So think about that for a second. Before you've even done any of the heavy lifting, just by writing down 8184 divided by 12, you've sent a huge signal to the examiner that you know the game. And just like that, you've probably banked your first mark. 1 down, 2 to go. What a great start.
All right, now that we've simplified the problem, it's time to actually do the math. This next bit is where we're going to grab that second method mark.
Okay, let's do this step by step. So we're doing long division. How many times does 12 go into 81? Well, 6 times 12 is 72, so it's 6 with a remainder of 9, right. Bring down the next digit, the 8, to make 98. How many 12s in 98? That'll be 8, because 8 times 12 is 96. That leaves a remainder of 2. Good. Bring down the last digit, the 4, to make 24. And how many 12s in 24? Easy. It's 2. Exactly. And there you have it, 682. By showing all those steps, nice and clear, we've demonstrated what they call a complete method. That's another box ticked on the examiner's list. Okay, so let's recap. We had the perfect start, we showed a full, complete method, and we got the final answer. So how does all that add up to those 3 precious marks? Well, this brings us to our final point. It's called the A mark, for accuracy. And the definition here is super important. You only get this mark after the examiner has seen a correct method. What does that mean? It means you can't just fluke the right answer and get the point. No way. You have to earn it by showing you know what you're doing. So let's put it all together. Here's how it works. You get M1, your first method mark, for that brilliant first step, turning it into 8184 divided by 12. You get a second M1 for showing the whole long division process step by step. And finally, you get A1, the accuracy mark, for getting the correct answer only. You'll see KO written on mark schemes, and putting 682 on that answer line. Tick, tick, tick. All 3 marks are yours. So, what's the big takeaway from all this?
Let's boil it all down into a strategy, a way of thinking that you can apply to pretty much any exam question. First up, simplify, simplify, simplify. Before you do anything else, see if you can make the problem easier. Getting rid of decimals is a classic. Second, show your work. I can't say this enough. Don't be a hero and do it in your head. Every single step could be worth a mark. Third, bank those method marks early. Seriously, even if you mess up the final calculation, you can still get points for having the right idea. And finally, know the lingo. Seeing something like cow tells you that for that final mark, your answer has to be absolutely perfect. No wiggle room. And really, that's how you crack the code. The moment you start looking at a question through the eyes of an examiner, using that mark scheme, it stops being just a math problem. It becomes a puzzle, a strategy game. Which kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other exam secrets are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for you to find them?